week.
Sweetie, I can't make it to Dick's this week.
Have you heard of Dix.com?
Have I heard of Dix.com? Have I heard of Dix.com? Whoa.
Don't overthink it. Let's go shopping.
Actually, what I need are some cleats.
How about one of these?
Great.
Done.
Okay.
Anything else?
No,
Golf club?
Not
Yep.
for me.
Yeah,
For a friend.
of course,
I'm
of course.
Anyone impressed with how fast that was?
Yeah,
I
totally.
know. I went to
My
Dix.com.
cleats. Thank you. I love you.
Well, I went to Dix.com. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I told you about that.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Woo! Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the point.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, 'cause it all gives you more with Whataburger rewards.
Don't miss the region's top boys basketball June events right here in Kansas City. Varsity and JV divisions, big and small class. 4-game minimum guarantee, college coaches NCAA Division II, NAI, and JUCO. June 13th through 15th at Staley, June 20th through 22nd at Piper, right next door to the NCAA certified event at Homefield. Register online, 810varsity.com/June, or contact Chad Rader at 810varsity. Stay local, save money, all with 810 Varsity June events. Find out more information at 810varsity.com.
Basketball fans, and welcome to a special episode of Friday Night Basketball in the Heartland. We are coming to you live from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in beautiful Overland Park, Kansas. We are just south of 435 and east of I-35. And why am I using those waypoints? Well, easy, friends, because we have student athletes coming in from all across the region from all directions. Clinton to Shawnee, DeSoto to St. Joe. We have Lions and Tigers and Bears tonight. So appropriate that Kansas is once again the host for the annual DiRenna All-Star Games. This annual tradition features some of the top talent throughout the greater Kansas City area, and even a little further out this year, as we have student athletes making that long trip from Clinton and St. Joe as well. Tonight, we have a doubleheader, 2 for the price is done. First, we're going to be bringing you the girls' action set to tip off here momentarily at 6 o'clock, followed by the boys' game sometime around 7-ish, maybe 7:30. And like last year, the boys' game will include a slam dunk contest at the end of the first half. You will absolutely not want to miss that. Quite frankly, you don't want to miss any of this because this is a talented group on each side of the state line coming in here to showcase their talents. It's Kansas and Missouri, the DiRenna All-Star Games 2025 edition, and we are going to bring you every point, every dunk, every dazzle, and every razzle. Speaking of star power, I'm joined this evening on e2varsity.com with the legendary, the incomparable Chris Kamler. He's kind of the Ren to my Stimpy, the Yin to my Yang. All right, it might be getting a little weird now. Chris is going to be joining us momentarily. He's doing double duty on the camera right now. By the way, one more thing when he comes back, he's from Missouri, I'm from Kansas, so I imagine throughout the evening we're going to have some friendly banter at the expense of one another. But right now, we'll step aside for the playing of the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first game this evening features the Missouri Women's All-Stars versus the Kansas Women's All-Stars. Now at this time, let's meet the teams and their coaches. First up, for Missouri, from Clinton, number 2, Sky Wilson. From Black County, number 5, Stone. From Park Hill South,
And
number
welcome
10,
back. The pride of St. Thomas Aquinas with the dazzling rendition of the national anthem. And now introductions for both of these all-star teams. How about we go ahead and do that? We might have missed the first couple, but how about Sky Wilson? She wears the number 2 for the Missouri squad. She's a Cardinal out of Clinton High. How about number 5? That is Lauren Stone out of Platte County. She's a Pirate for Coach Eric Mitchell up there. Nia Guess wearing the 1-0 out of Park Hill South. She's a Panther. How about a Panther? Another one from Ray Beck out of, that's Peyton Johnson wearing the 1-2. And Abby Wentz out of Notre Dame. T. Scion. Coach Terrell Ford. Look over her. There she is right there, right on time. Sarai White wears the number 15. She's out of Grandview. Park Hill South is giving us Lanisha Parker. She's going to wear the number 20. She's going to be a little bit delayed this evening, but she will be here to join 14 other players from the Missouri side and 15 from the Kansas. Number 22 is Ananda Ford out of University Academy. She's a Fighting Griffin out of UA. Tanaya Cutler, she wears the number 24 out of Grandview for Coach Stuart Wright. Avery Roush, she's a Lisa Tiger wearing the number 30. Andrea Simmons, number 32 out of St. Joe, making the trip down here. She's a Cardinal out of St. Joe Benton. How about the Grandview Bulldogs sending us Jada Smith, number 34. Taylor Smith, another out of Scion. She wears the number 42. Boston Wand out of Park Hill, wearing the number 44. And Peyton Wolford out of Smithville, wearing the number 45. That rounds out the 15 girl All-Stars from the Missouri Sty. For Kansas, number 2 out of St. James for Coach Justin Snell, Riley Kerwin. Sienna Lewis wearing the number 5 out of Shawnee Mission Northwest. Ashley Alverson out of Blue Valley North. She's wearing the number 10. She will not be in the lineup tonight, but she is here representing the Mustangs of Blue Valley North. Lily Unruh out of Blue Valley Southwest wearing the number 1-2 for Coach TJ Taylor and company. Quinn Carpenter, one of 2 DeSoto Wildcats on the Kansas roster tonight. She's wearing the number 14. Kirsten Verholst, you remember that name? We'll talk about that family tree here in a little while. Wearing the number 15 out of Bishop Miege. Avery Landon, the Jaguar out of Mill Valley High, wearing number 20. Grace McCallum is not here tonight, but she is in spirit, wearing the number 22 out of Piper High. How about Kinsey Farmer, one of the best to suited up for Coach Ryan Roby and the Wildcats out of DeSoto, wearing the number 24. Emma Sales, number 30 out of Olathe West. How about Gabby McFall, number 32 out of Blue Valley Northwest. Another Gabby is Gabby Jackson, wearing the number 34 out of Shawnee Mission Northwest. Another Mustang, Jelaya Davis, number 42. She won't be playing tonight due to a previous commitment, but her teammate, Aubrey Shaw, is going to be wearing the number 44, and she's going to be part of the starting lineup for the Kansas squad. And Layla Barnes out of Blue Valley High, wearing the number 45. And the Tiger rounds out our top 15 for the Kansas squad as we welcome back in Mr. Chris Kamler. In fact, we're not back
Hi,
in,
guys.
but for the first time. How about that?
Everybody. How's it going?
I said nothing but great things while you were away.
I'm sure that's not true.
That's exactly right.
I'll tell you what, I've had the pleasure to watch a lot of these kids this year. I did the 6A Kansas State finals on both sides. A whole lot of Blue Valley North. There's a whole lot of Blue Valley North on this roster. There's a whole lot of just really, really talented kids. A whole lot of Park Hill South as well. And we are seeing a plethora, if you will, of talent on the court tonight. I'm very, very excited to see these kids and how they're going to do.
Well, at least we have talent on the court.
Yeah, exactly.
We certainly don't have any behind the headsets here.
A little bit of housekeeping. They are going to run a 12-minute quarter, but it's going to be running clock. And then towards the end of the quarter, they may stop the clock from time to time. But 12 to 1 will be a running clock. And obviously, the goal of these honorary coaches is to try to get everybody in and out.
Tipping off is Peyton Wolford for Missouri, and her tip lands into the hands of Abby Wentz. And Missouri is going to possibly strike first, and that was from way downtown. Jada Smith out of Grandview.
Jada Smith has been incredible all season, and she starts the scoring there.
It's even that one game on the price right. It's like Plinko.
Yeah.
I want to say like Jada Plinko Smith.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, let's go with that.
Trying a little bit too hard. Here's Kinsey Farmer going to switch up her dribble, handing it off. Number 15, that's Kirsten Verholst. As I mentioned in the pregame, Verholst, I'm sure you remember that name if you followed Kansas girls basketball or athletics over the past couple of years. Her older sister, Peyton, the standout, former standout for the Sooners down in North. Had a fantastic career. Highlight reels, maybe ESPN more than a few times. Here's Avery Landon out of Mill Valley High for the head coach, Adam Runyon, who's leading this Kansas squad here in the DiRenna All-Star Game tonight. 10:56 left here in the first quarter. Little off the glass and in. Right place, right time for Avery Landon. Coach Adam Runyon says that Avery Landon is kind of the heart and soul of that Jaguar team. And well, the first one went in. Might as well try another one. A little bit of a heat check. Heel of the rim, not as forgiving. Bounce pass underneath. Beautiful. Peyton Walford finishes it off. And Peyton Walford, the Wyoming Cowgirl, commits. Puts Missouri on the board. They are down 5-2 to the team in purple right now. There's Kinsey Farmer getting it out to Verhulst for three, and she's got such a beautiful stroke. Now, who says that these All-Star games aren't going to be physical? They're getting the elbows out already.
So there's usually two ways these things can go. They could be a little bit of a showcase, a little bit of like an NFL Pro Bowl type thing, or they could really get after it. And I think knowing the competitive nature of these kids, they're going to really get after it.
And another three. How about that? Abby wins. Are you kidding me? Coach Terrell Ford sending a couple of storms, and one of them just hit a three from long range. 8-5 in favor of the team from purple. Shaw on the left wing, getting it back up top. It's Avery Landon as we welcome in. What perfect timing. A coach from USD 232, Ryan Roby, and a coach from, what is it, USD 2, what is it, Coach? 202? Go. That would be to my left is head coach of the Minnesota Wildcats, Ryan Roby, and Coach Brett Ash. Coach Brett Ash, he's going to be the same from Turner High, joining us in here. Talk about some of these student athletes from the Kansas side. Both of you have had opportunities to go up against. Well, certainly in the case of you, Coach, you've got a couple of players here tonight. And Coach Ash, you certainly played against a number of these players out here on the court, and love to get your thoughts as we go through here the first quarter. Running clock, 8:44, 8:43 left, 8-5. Kansas with an early lead. So Coach Roby, number 24 out there, Kinsey Farmer, going to be taking her talents to Central Missouri State. She's been a 4-year star for her. The easy question is, well, what has she meant to your program? But that's a little bit too easy. But let me ask you this, in relation to the other players around her, how has Kinsey Farmer made the team better in that regard?
Yeah, Kinsey is about a special player. She impacts the game, no doubt. Both of the score. She's a record breaker, 17 score record over her career. But I would argue that her daily after her game, she's a competitor. Her program is compete. And she does that about as good as anybody else.
And to see her and four of her teammates come to the sideline, and you're going to have another Wildcat out there. That's Quinn Carpenter. We're on the number 14. We go from 24 to 14, but not only do we have Wildcat players out here, but we have four others as well. We've got Sienna Lewis out here now, as well as Gabby McFall. We have, let's see, Gabby Jackson getting some action as well. Now, Coach Ash, as you see some of these players out here, it's probably no surprise to you that especially the two that come from DeSoto are out here as part of an All-Star game. You've had to play them a couple of times, certainly this past year, and Turner collectively over the past several. What did you have to prepare a little bit differently when you went up against these two All-Stars? There we go. We'll bring you on here, Coach. Or we'll just make up what he's saying. He was saying that he was going to buy me a steak dinner after the game. This is great news. We're going to do a little switcheroo of the headsets. Work through a little technical snafu. So we see Boston Wan into the game. Send a nice screen for Jada Smith. Rebound going the other way. Here's Layla Barnes. And now I think Coach Ash, are you with us? There he is. There he is. But, you know, so many of these All-Stars, you see them out here and they make the game look so easy. But, you know, coming from a coach that's, you know, developing a program up there in Turner, and how important the fundamentals are early in the career. I mean, just talk about, as you see these players out here, imagine how much time that they have put in over the years to perfect their craft.
Right, and, you know, that's something that, you know, we were talking about all offseason. We're trying to set the tone, but, you know, we had our 8th grade signing day today and just talking about, you know, it all starts right now. You know, basketball is a year-round sport. It's not something that you show up in November and pick up a basketball and then go out there, especially in our conference. I mean, players and, You know, you think about your Topeka Seam and Coach Stout here coaching this Kansas side. Piper, those fundamentals have to be developed game one. So that is the number one. So, like we talked about, commentator that didn't have Larry's girl program never played basketball.
I just shake my head every time I hear that. Been able to generate enough buzz to get players and young that never been on a team before to come out and give it a shot. Here's Quinn Carpenter bringing it up for Kansas. A little head fakes, Lewis. And underneath, a little bit of a tie-up. There's an on to Ford. So many of these players have elected to go on and continue their basketball careers after they graduate, but there are also a few like Gabby McFall out of Blue Valley Northwest. Certainly she would have opportunity to play at the next level, but she's elected not to. And we're going to see quite a bit of those players throughout the evening, or possibly that will go into another sport, which is kind of what I want to talk to you guys about. You know, there's one school of thought that says, hey, if you're a really good baseball player, you're a really good basketball player, that's the sport you need to play. You need to concentrate on that 365 days a year. You don't have time for any other sport. But there's no question. I mean, the stats, at least here in the lineup, so many of these all-star athletes are multi-sport athletes as well. Coach Ash talked to us about the importance of being a well-rounded player to get to this level.
Well, that's our entire course in that tournament. Athletic Director Dr. Alex Supple is doing a fantastic job in helping all of our head coaches support each other, trying to encourage our athletes each season to play a fall sport, play a sport. Because at the end of the day, all of those fundamental skills and athleticism, those trainings, so if they play to help them, every coach will help them in our program.
Right. See Gabby McFall, DiRenna 3. Gabby, this will be her last game. And Coach Roby, I see you shaking your head over here that a player with that talent, this is going to be her last hurrah. And, you know, you've seen her play over the years as well. She certainly has an opportunity to play, but you got to respect her decision, and certainly bright things ahead for Gabby McFall and so many of these other players out here. And a lot of that has to do with being able to be involved in sports.
Talking about multi-sport athletes.
Parker underneath, but the cleanup by Ananda Ford. Nisha Parker getting to the gym here at St. Thomas Aquinas just in the right amount of time. Good shot. Ford to be continuing her at Johnson County Community College, which I understand they just won.
Fouls on Missouri's number 15, Soraya Wright. For first team second. Kansas.
You see Coach Carly Haas up here. After the Bills game, we talked to some about some of their players over there, but she's got 2 or 3 others making the trip from Midview, Canada. Ty Moss, one of our assistant coaches, as well as she's in a low she's a good guy. Coming up to support their school, some athletes. There's on the 40 again. She had a good look the first time. Tanya Cuthbert, call a travel. Tanya said, hey, it's an all-star game. Just keep away with it a little bit more. The final minute here, quarter number 1. Reminder that Chris Pamela said in the opening couple of minutes, this will be a running for each quarter. The fourth quarter, we're probably going to have not as many rules. Final 35 seconds of the first half. Here's Ford, picking it up from the elbow. Nice little move. And using the glass. There's some good basketball instincts right there by Miss Ford. Certainly she's going to fit well on the Johnson County Community College. Here's number 44. We're going to talk a lot about her, Aubrey Shaw, here on the basketball court. She is such a well-rounded young lady, and what a delight it is to visit with her and find out a little bit more about her story and her family. There she is, just thinking about who even is. It's going to be a little bit short. And after one quarter of play, Kansas up by 8, 22-14. We're going to be back with more right after this live from St. Thomas Aquinas on 18varsity.com.
Don't forget about my new cleats.
Sweetie, I can't make it to Dick's this week.
Have you heard of Dix.com?
Have I heard of Dix.com? Have I heard of Dix.com? Whoa.
Don't overthink it. Let's go shopping.
Actually, what I need are some cleats.
How about one of these?
Great.
Done. Anything else?
No, golf club? Not for me.
Yeah,
For a friend.
of course, of course.
Anyone impressed with how fast that was?
Yeah,
I know. I went to
my
Dix.com.
cleats. Thank you. I love you.
Well, I went to Dix.com. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I told you about that.
Aquinas, Chris Cameron going to take you the rest of the way for this first half. Missouri on top 22-14.
Good to see you. I haven't seen you like 7 years. I know, I'm
And there is a foul. So guys, tell me a little bit about working in these, or playing in these All-Star games. I know Sean and I were talking, and it's been, there's kind of two ways to do it, right? There's the NFL Pro Bowl, two-hand touch type thing, and then there are All-Star games where kids really start to go at it. And to me, last on the road,
That's a lot of road time, man.
Michigan got it. So I can barely hear the competitive juices start flowing. Right. I want to win this one. We want to win this, and the kids are the same way.
That's my camera, but everything else is his. He could do his camera.
I was slap these kids on the way they got to where they are. Flat your hair. Why you trying to stop? It's a delicate balance. I got to hold my just freaking out. It's an All-Star game. Get low for a minute. Exactly right. Anaya Guest with a three-pointer on one side and then pick up the foul on the other. She's out of Park Hill South. This season, Park Hill South has had on the Missouri side their conference champions. But they're just incredible. Stately ended up winning the Class 6 girls. And we'll talk about this mostly on the boys' side, but that Class 6 Division 8 on the Missouri side is the 27 Yankees with Stately and North Kansas City and Oak Park and Park Hill South. It's just ridiculous for whoever's coming out of that out of that district is an odds-on favorite almost immediately to win state. Oak Park ended up being on the boys' side last year. This year. Exactly right.
The T-Mobile thing, that's just a moonlight over there.
25-15, Missouri on top. Second quarter of action. We are going to have 12-minute quarters running clock until about the last minute.
I've worked all the state tournaments like that.
The other important thing is an all-star coach.
What's like,
Everybody get out. Is there a spreadsheet or what do you mostly look at for that?
I've never seen anything like that.
Try to run in teams, run in groups.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get everybody in. We talked about it. We
tried to get everybody in there.
You're okay.
So I'm in a rental right now too.
First and Verhol, so engaged, picks up the foul, or draws
This is
the
the
foul.
entrance to the Israel.
Shooting the and-one, you can go right up and down this line.
Into the arena.
There's just not a bad team
The
on
media
this
room was
list.
set up right next to the hospitality room.
Turnover right there.
The hospitality, like, they fed you 3-course like dinner.
Couldn't get it to fall.
Every minute.
Going right to left here. This is Andrea Simmons out of St. Joe Benton, class 6 state runner-up.
Wash the whole towel.
That's awesome.
There's the media room. It was all
Picked up by Abby.
Yeah, that's a great experience.
Back out top. Simmons dribble drive up and in. Basket's good. 27-18. Missouri extends their lead to 9.
Top tier.
Now a steal from Simmons. Dishes it off to Boston Wand out of Park Hill.
Salina.
She couldn't get the money to fall.
They used to have a good setup when they catered, but ever since COVID, they give you those. Who is? I think 22 from Missouri.
Pick up, turnover. Wolford out of Smithville.
Is she from Grandview?
Bounce pass. I guess.
She's the one that's like,
Dribble out of bounds, and there's another fresh 5 on each side coming in and out. We were just talking about the wholesale changes.
right there.
Just in the Kansas City area with the summer ball and the year-round basketball. It just seems maybe, maybe I'm biased, but in the last 10 years, the quality of players in this city. Everybody looks on the Missouri side to St. Louis, and the Wichita teams are incredible. Kansas side, but Kansas City just seems to have just jumped into the stratosphere as far as quality of ball players on both the men's and the women's side.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I'm no stranger to playing against really good. I do that pretty much. I do that 20 games if I see. But speaking about year-round basketball, I finally had a chance to shout out Coach Roby here. Our girls are having the opportunity to play the League at DeSoto on Sundays, and our girls had a phenomenal time in opening weekend this past Sunday. And it's just a great opportunity to develop from the minutes, right? Playing more defense, dribbling the types of bases, making tough passes. So, our girls are definitely benefiting from that because they don't really play much basketball outside of the November to February window.
Yeah, and even though, high school coaches aren't allowed to coach those kids, off the clock, there's still that. This is really where your seniors and your upperclassmen really have an opportunity to lead their team because it is maybe 3-on-3 or a tighter window, and they get to be their own coaches, and sometimes that's exactly what you need to keep it going all summer long.
Yeah, there's unbelievable talent on the floor right now on both sides. Every kid that's out there, it's
There you go, Kansas calling a timeout, taking a play out of your playbook. 5:13 left to go in the first half. 27-18, Missouri has led most of the half. They led most of the game actually for the opening whistle. It has been an up and down game. I saw Nisi Parker at Park Hill South chuck up a three just before the timeout was called. Park Hill South and Blue Valley North played in the championship game at the North Kansas City Holiday Classic, and it was a really good game. North lost, but it was an incredible game. I got to PA that game, and it was just that whole tournament, watching both of those two teams on kind of that collision course in the championship round was really fun. Blue Valley North is such a high-powered, well-coached squad, and Park Hill South with their bigs, with Parker and Guest. They're just a lot of fun to watch.
I'm looking forward to out of timeout sets.
Yeah, you get your chance. You know, if you just want to step in on play-by-play, you go for it. You know, listen, we can't all be Sean Brewer, you know, but you got to start somewhere. Under 5 to play here in the first half. Sean will appreciate this. At halftime, I need to find a lot of I think we know where it is. Nothing I love more than laps. Turnover. Here comes Nisi Parker. Good stop there. Keeping the right foot down. Going to kick it over to Keaton Johnson out of the right back. Tries to go dribble drive. Back to Parker. Nisi Parker. Yeah. Well, Kansas really has a size advantage on this lineup right here.
I'll tell you what, it doesn't look like an all-star game.
No, these are two teams, and that's the other thing that kind of that summer ball and year-round ball does. You know all these kids. I mean, all these kids. This isn't school rivalries or whatever. You may play with them one weekend, you can play against them the next weekend. And it's that. It's really, really cool to watch. Another timeout. No, actually another foul. So James,
that's an all-star foul.
Yeah.
He's all tentative at the table.
A little bit of a line change here. Fresh 5 for Kansas. I see Gabby Jackson out of Northwest. Right. Aubrey oh, there she is. Yeah, right there. So Aubrey Shaw, pretty good at sports. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. Pretty smart too, apparently. So you know, this is kind of a double threat. But two-time state champion, second in 3 years, 6'8". The other group she can do there. That's kind of her forte. She can drive the paint. She can also shoot from outside. You gotta be salivating in this lineup. This is not bad. Back to Aubrey Shaw, obviously committed to Harvard. And then her teammate, Julia Davis, is not committed to school down in country, Kansas. I don't know if it's going to be a smaller school than that. So, yeah, it's a huge kiss for Kansas. Love it.
In for Missouri, 45.
But my skin didn't burn when I walked on campus. About 1 minute to play here in the first half. Back to Sean. This has been fun. This is going to be fun all night. They're inducting Wayne Simeon. Kansas fans might be watching. They induct him into the Kansas City Basketball Hall of Fame. It'll be at halftime or between games. I'm not sure. There's supposed to be a dunk contest here. I don't know. There's just crazy. So here's my only story. One of my only stories was well, I forgot. We'll just 45 seconds left. Now a turnover to Mo. Brought up by Wolford. Now up the court goes to Simmons. Simmons looking for a kick out to up top. Wolford way downtown, did not go. Squire right. Wolford passes on the opportunity to do it again. The cross at St. Thomas slow goal. 7 seconds. She's going to do it. She's going to shoot it up again, and that's maybe a little bit of fatigue. Not playing for a few weeks, but we got 1.9. Let's see what Team KS is going to. They're just going to take it on into halftime. So there's your halftime scores, folks. 27-20. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you.
And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the DiRenna All-Star Games powered by 810 Varsity.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Woo! Get a water burger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the points.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, cause it all gives you more with Whataburger Rewards.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
And welcome back in for half number 2, Kansas and Missouri. Well, we have head coach Turner Bears, the Lady Bears, you could say. Coach Brett Ash. They buff up the sound level just a little bit. Both of us. There we go. Now, Coach, earlier today, as I'm going through the Twitterverse, I ran across a tweet that you had put out announcing that you have 15 8th graders committed to the program today for the class of 2029. Coach, I think that is spectacular. I've never seen that done before. I want to talk to you about your really kind of the genesis behind that and what made you decide to do this. You've done so many things to Turner, obviously, to kind of build that momentum. But why this? Why today?
So every year our athletic director puts together an 8th grade signing day for all sports. So all of our coaches, we go down to the middle school and they have the banners set up with jerseys out for them to hold. And a big thing for us, like we were talking about earlier, just participation, right? No matter what the sport is, the way that you do that is you start at the middle school level, right? And you build those connections. You make it a big time event for them to make that transition from turning middle school to turning high school. And so we have 15 total 8th graders right now committed to play basketball. So I got the information ahead of time. I've been in contact with them. Even had our rising seniors, our class of 26, sign little notes for them to put on the table, welcoming them to the program. So, just kind of adding that personal element so they feel like they're coming into not just a program, but a family that says it like that.
Well, I think that's spectacular, and I know that everybody that saw it on Twitter did as well. And you've got such a great job, at least the year they're the only. And that's just it. You've only been there for a year, and really exciting things to come ahead for the Lady Bears at Turner High. Got to give a shout out to Coach Rolls as well with the boys team. But we appreciate the time that you've dedicated to your team and the time that you've given up to us this evening on the broadcast. And we'll do it again next year.
I think you're ready for prime time. Anytime you want to come on.
Well, I appreciate everything you guys do, especially shedding light on what we're doing. Our kids, they're working hard. They care about our school, our community, our program. And I know our parents appreciate having Turner in the spotlight.
Amen. Amen. By the way, I've got that video, but I can't give yours to you until I get Coach Rolls down. There's like another 4 or 5 I got to do. It's coming, though. You're going to like it.
Thank you, guys.
27-20 in favor of the Missouri squad.
They've done a really good job at moving kids in and out.
Like recruiting? Is that what you're saying?
No,
I'm
saying I'm just saying just in and out of this game. So I don't think they're going to keep the team. Yeah, probably.
At the line is Skite Wilson. Skite will be continuing her career as well at Johnson County Community College. Played for Coach Stacy Womack out of Clinton. Making about an hour drive up here tonight from Clinton. Gotta fight that Jeshua belt. It's never a good thing. She battled through. Landon back into the game. The Jaguar to Mill Valley. And Aubrey Shaw, and I heard Chris Kamler talking about Aubrey Shaw in the first half. Her exploits on the court, multi-talented student athlete that she is. The one thing that I just learned about number 44, Aubrey Shaw, is she was the first runner-up in the Miss Kansas Team pageant of 2025.
Really?
How about that? Now, not only that, but she was the 2017 National American Miss Kansas pre-team. Aubrey Shaw, how about that?
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all for Aubrey Shaw. It's kind of a tongue twister. 30-20, 10-point spread. Missouri in control. Kansas trying to battle back. And here's the aforementioned Shaw on the right wing, back up top, feeding Kinsey Farmer inside, but putting a hand up at the right time as an on to 4. Going all the way down, and the battle of turnovers is taking place before our eyes. Here's Gabby McFall, way out, gets it up to Kirsten Verhulst. Long rebound. And there we go. Timeout on the floor. The substitutions. 5 out, 5 back in. Coming back in, Peyton Wolf, our number 45 for Missouri. As I mentioned before, she's going to be making a trip to Laramie, University of Wyoming. A couple of famous alums out of the University of Wyoming, Chris Kamler.
It wasn't me, was it?
It was not you. Basketball related. One would be Dr. Not Jay. Jerry Butts. And Dick Cheney. I was just going to say, hey, I was just going to mention that. Jada Smith at the line. Jada Smith, she had committed to Emporia State, but she's recently reopened her recruiting. Coaches out there looking to pick up a guard that can slash and dash and make her own shot. Loses athleticism. Makes her first at the line. Played for Coach Stuart Wright down there at Grandview. Average around 17 points a game, 7 rebounds, a couple of assists, and a steal. 20. Missouri up by 13. Quick foul call. Sienna Lewis might have got her arm out there just a little bit much. So before the game, Chris Kamler and I placed a friendly wager. I said, you know, looking at the roster, I think it's going to be Missouri that comes out on top of the girls' game. You were adamant that it was going to be Kansas. I understand that we were going to have a Hereford House steak dinner on the line. Yeah, I don't particularly care. Sienna Lewis walking it up. Playing for Coach Tyler Stewart out of Shawnee Mission Northwest. Sienna hasn't decided where she will continue her basketball exploits. She's being recruited by a number of NAIA and JUCO teams. Coach Tyler Stewart, when asked about Sienna, he says she's one of the best defensive players that he's coached. Quite frankly, just one of the best all-around players he's ever coached. Very physical on both ends of the floor. We see that, certainly. There's Quinn Carpenter, the long-range sniper. Sienna Lewis with a little feed. Back up top, long three, no good. Gavin McFall, or excuse me, Emma Sales had a good look. Emma Sales, she will continue her basketball playing days at Point Loma Nazarene University, home of the Fighting Lions. San Diego, California. There's Quinn Carpenter, tough shot. He's going to go to line, shoot two, running clock at 4:10, 4:09. Left in quarter number 3, 33-20. Still a 13-point spread in favor of the team, wearing the black with the yellow trim. Second shot gives us an opportunity to welcome in one of the all-star coaches from the area. That would be St. James Academy head girls coach Justin Snell. Coach, welcome back. Welcome back to the DiRenna All-Star Game. You've got a young player out there leading the break. Wait for the bunch. Here she is. She gave it up. A better pass. She is thinking about it. Such a heady player, and we're talking about, and that's perfect timing.
That's
Riley.
good timing right there. Well done.
Riley Kerwin, wearing the number 2. How many times? There he is. There he is. There's Coach Snell. He's the real all-star right here.
Good-looking guy right there.
Besides the guy that's wearing the sequins.
Don't worry about me.
I'm just kind of rubbing the sequins.
That's
Does
fine.
that bother you?
It looks good.
Starting to really get weird in here.
I like it.
Tanya Ruthard. Long range three, no good. Now, Coach, you've had Riley Kerwin in your program for 4 years. She's going to be continuing her career playing basketball at St. Mary University, just up the road, just up K7 from St. James. She had a couple of different options. I understand she's also a standout softball player. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked earlier to Coach Ryan Roby from DeSoto High. You know, players like that, obviously, she means a lot to the team as a whole, Riley Kerwin. But in terms of the players around, what has she done to elevate those players in their game? Because you've got a stable of young players that certainly have benefited from her, and, you know, I think like Reese Messer as well. But, you know, tell us a little bit more about kind of her role as a leader in your program over the last 4 years.
One of the smartest players in the world. She's really, really heavy, like you said. And, she's the type of player that she knows what to play before we even warm up. She makes all the right reads. She's just.
Kinsey Palmer, a little frustrated with herself.
Kansas team is trying to get something going. They got to get it going somewhere. So
hopefully McKenzie can get them going with a little bit of defense, turn it into offense.
Running clock here in the third quarter. 35-24, 11 points spread. Missouri up by 11, and here is number 20. That is Miss Parker back into the game. She lost the handle, recovers nicely. Being guarded by Farmer. Nice feed inside to Boston Juan. She is a presence underneath. And Northwest Missouri State, the Bearcats are getting a heck of a player. Quick question, trivia question for you, Chris Campbell.
Yes, sir.
Major League Baseball player that came out of Northwest Missouri State. Played for the Twins. First and last name.
Rod Carew.
It is not Rod Carew. Gary Gaetti.
I know my next one.
There it is.
I knew that one.
All right, Coach. Look at what with it. Last 30 seconds of the third quarter.
Quite a few NFL players.
Heck of a program up there over the years. West Missouri, Central Missouri, Penn State as well. A lot of great battles. So, Coach Snell, you had another absolutely fantastic year. You know, you had the injury bug hit you at a couple of different times at just the wrong time. But, you know, you've got to be happy with that new base of players that you have coming back to build around. Talk to us about what you're looking forward to next year.
Yeah, really happy with the group that we have coming back. We got Chris Riley. We had a group that really came together next year. With our freshman class coming out. So we've got some JV players in there. Freshmen that we played JV this year that are going to help us out some next year. Yeah, we bring back Mel Robinson and Megan Beckman who are huge for us this year. We're looking forward to losing them and helping us to advance. And maybe just maybe get past the first round stage.
You know, the bracketing and the seeding certainly didn't do you any favors, Coach.
Nice
McKenzie, final second, can't get it off. 39-26, 13 points between Missouri and Kansas here after 3 quarters of play. Well, almost. We do have .2, the inbounds play, and that will make it official after 3 quarters. 39-26. We're going to be back for a little bit more, 1 more quarter of play. And as a reminder, we will have the Boys All-Star Game. Snap, crackle, pop here on the boys game that will start roughly about 20 minutes after the conclusion of the girls game, live on 810 Varsity.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the points.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, cause it all gives you more with Whataburger rewards.
.26, 13 points separate these two teams, separated by State Line Road. We have 1 more quarter, running clock, 12 minutes. We'll have a quick little break, and then the men's All-Star Game will tip off about 20 minutes after that. As a reminder, we'll have the slam dunk contest at halftime of the boys' game. There are some freakish athletes that we're going to see on display tonight. What a treat that's going to be. So welcome back in, beg your pardon, Coach Justin Snell out of St. James Academy on the Kansas side. As you look over here, and I know you've battled against so many of these players on both sides of the state line. You know, something, and there's Verhulst. I mean, what a great, fundamentally strong player. And I want to talk to you about the fundamentals. You know, there's this talk right now about how the involvement of young girls is declining in basketball, in places like lacrosse and soccer and so many other. But if you have an opportunity to talk to some of the young players out there that some are going to be watching and listening to us tonight, what's a message that you would tell them? Because what I've heard in my small circle is so many girls just kind of get afraid to play because they're afraid that, somebody like number 15, Kristen Volhos, she's been playing for 8, 9, 10 years, that they're a little bit behind the curve. But what can they do to kind of get up to speed and give them a chance to play for a team like yours?
You need to talk about the fundamentals. You spend an incredible amount of time working on fundamentals and just stuff that you actually could do at home on your own. Working on ball handling, shooting form. Shooting is at a premium right now, so if you can make shots, you can play basketball. And the Kansas team needs to make a few shots right now, that's for sure.
Right.
They're struggling to make some shots, but you got to be able to make shots to play right now. We spend a lot of time shooting basketball and then trying to defend. If you can defend, I think will put you in the game. So things like defending, rebounding, and then being able to make shots are things that you can improve on your own, and you can bring that. You can continue to improve at every level and get better. And those are things that will just get you.
That was the beauty of my high school career, which spanned a total of about a year and a half, is that I could defend and draw fouls. I was really good at that. Coach said, go to this spot, put your arms up. The shooting and the fundamentals, maybe not so much, but I could draw fouls. And hey, in your close game, sometimes you need that.
There's a role for everybody out there. Sometimes you need somebody that can just go out there and draw a foul.
Sometimes you need to consider being a play-by-play guy instead of an athlete.
That's fantastic. There is a place for everyone, and that was in the right place at the right time. Layla Barnes out of Blue Valley. But, to highlight the girls here at the DiRenna All-Star Game, you marvel at their ability, certainly, but you also have to dig a little bit deeper and think about how much time that they have spent perfecting their craft over the years. Individually with teammates as well, and the sacrifice that they, as well as their families, have certainly made over time. Now, as you see, that is Gabby McFall. Now, Gabby's not going to be continuing her basketball career, which is kind of crazy to think, as talented as she is.
There's some really talented girls out here, and you don't just get there by chance. They just put in a lot of work. Gabby McFall, she's put in incredible amount of work to get to as talented as she is. And I know sometimes that decision whether or not you want to go play somewhere or you just want to go enjoy your college experience is a tough one.
How about Sky Wilson? You talk about hustle, coach.
There you go.
And Sky Wilson is doing exactly that. She throws it up, gets it to go. She's going to go to the the stripe to shoot one for the old-fashioned three, 48-28, 8:26 in the running clock in the final quarter.
The Missouri team is toughing it out right now. They look like the tougher team, and Kansas team hasn't been able to get any rhythm with making shots. And you can't make shots, then you got to find it somewhere else. And the Missouri team is finding it with some tough defense and just being physical.
I think for the majority of this lineup, Kansas has had a height advantage on most of these lines. This is almost like a hockey game with lines coming in and out, but it's a very physical Missouri team that has. They just beat up on each other all year long.
Absolutely. We always joke that we get to play basketball a little bit differently in Missouri than we do in Kansas. They get to play a little bit more physical. It feels like when you go across the state line.
It really does, and I'm sure that officiating is part of that. Yeah. It's just a style of play. Now, Wichita will beg to differ when I go down there. Yeah. But
I'm all for it. Let them play. Let them get physical. As long as no one's getting an advantage from it, let's let them play basketball.
Yeah.
What's happening right now?
Indeed she is, 49-28.
Good putback. Really nice shot.
Glenn Carpenter
getting
it done for the Wildcats. But in addition to their play on the courts, Coach, I want to have you specifically, at St. James Academy. It truly is a student athlete that we're talking about. As I look up and down both of these rosters from Missouri, we've got like Lauren Stone, she's going to Clark University, and Wooster Matz, St. Mary's University, Abby Wint. Now, these schools, and there's so many, Lincoln University, Truman State, these aren't schools that, you go and get an underwater basketball degree. Of course, Aubrey Shaw going to take her talents to Harvard. How do you think as a coach, by playing in, whether it's basketball or just playing sports in general, how does that help some of these young people develop the ability to not only excel on the court, but also in the classroom?
Yeah, basketball is a microcosm of life. Difficulties, you've got to learn to overcome. You've got to learn to figure it out when things aren't going right. Things aren't really going right for the Kansas team right now. They've got to figure out how to overcome and still continue to be strong in this situation. You got some really, really smart people. they're not as successful as they are on the basketball court. Just because of skill and ability, they're really smart as well. It helps out.
Lauren Stone, Avery Roush, and Taylor Smith all here tonight, but not in action due to a couple of different reasons. One, hopefully, just personal reasons, but we still have 13 players on each squad out here suiting up. What a treat it has been for them, and for us, quite frankly, to see them showcase their abilities here at the DiRenna All-Star Game.
Going back to what you said too about the young girls picking up the sport, like I saw someone walk in earlier with that famous t-shirt that says everyone wants to play this sport. So women's sports are growing up right now. Coverage is increasing. You guys do a fantastic job. Make sure does a fantastic job. We got a lot of coverage for women's basketball that we didn't used to get around here. It's fun to see that they're putting out a good product.
Well, look, and isn't that at the heart of it? The product is better. I've had this conversation so many times that the product that was on the court 20 years ago, 25 years ago, let's face it has absolutely changed. And because of great coaches like you and the dedication of these student athletes, but what can you point to? What was kind of that change age? You know, when did things really say, hey, you know, we have a chance, as girls, going to have a chance to become great ball players with the right encouragement, the right leadership? What is that? What do you think really happened? What caused that change?
I think physical abilities are just increasing. Girls are getting more athletic. Kids are just getting more athletic in general. Sure. And they're putting the time in and the work in to try to figure out how to make the game more exciting. They realize that excitement sells on the court and on whatever field that they're on.
Right.
And they're allowed to be a little bit more free in those spots. And that freedom and that creativity that they're allowed to show out there on the floor has made it a whole lot more fun to watch. You've got the Caitlin Clarks of the world, the Juju Watkins, and those girls are just they're making girls want to play basketball because they're fun to watch.
It's a really good time for women's sports altogether. You look at this volleyball and everything that's going on in Nebraska. You look at what Caitlin Clark has done she's single-handedly lifted the sport several notches on everybody's radar. She's selling out arenas, in her WNBA games, and it has just made this sport has all the women's sports have been great. They've never stopped being great. It's just now there's more people noticing it.
Yeah, people are paying attention to it, and the girls, like I said before, they're putting in the work and they're fun to watch. And give them a chance to show that they have the ability, and they'll show up, and fans will show up as they've shown. Like you said, Nebraska volleyball has been insane.
Right. And the Sales gets a 3 to go down, 53-37. 4.5 to play here in the DiRenna All-Star Game. First of 2 games this evening. The boys' game will start roughly about 20 minutes after the conclusion of this game. And there's Wolford, first name Peyton out of Smithville, the future cowgirl of Wyoming. She helped her team to 2 Final Four appearances. Coach says that she's exemplified hard work, dedication, and passion towards the game of basketball. Now, despite being 6'2", get this, she holds a single 3-point record at Smithville High. She's got 1,000 points in her career, all-conference, all-district, 2-year all-state. But she's also a decorated golf and soccer athlete as well. And again, not to be the broken record, but just the multi-sport talent.
Multi-sport athlete.
Just to make one more point on the women's sports, especially in a city like Kansas City, where you've got the first all-women-purpose soccer stadium here at CPKC, and it's a big time. It's a big time for man. If you could be a multi-sport athlete in high school, that's amazing.
Avery Landon with a nice move inside, can't get it to go. She's going to throw it in, try to find a teammate in purple, but the team in the yellow and blacks is not so fast. Here's Miss Parker using her body the right way. Got herself under the basket a little bit too far, knocked out of bounds, and it will stay in possession of Missouri.
She's a heck of a track athlete.
She absolutely is, and I think she might be. She hasn't committed to a college yet to play basketball. Well, you understand why. She's probably getting a lot of looks on the track as well.
Nisi started her career at Northtown for a couple of seasons, and then transferred to Park Hill South. And that was a really good opportunity for her on a team that really just needed a couple of key pieces. And Nisi provided just that in their district championship run and all the way up into to some of their conference titles. So, and she has really done a great job. I mean, obviously, we don't have live scoring, so I don't know what the points are, but she's been all over the floor. Every time I look up, she's got the ball and doing something. And that kind of mentality, I remember this from her time at Northtown, she's always just kind of swarming around the ball, whatever's happening. And I don't know, Coach, you could tell me, but that's one of the things that's probably a little bit hard to teach, right?
Absolutely. I was just going to say, it's hard to teach that. You either have that or you don't. But you look at a player like that, you see all that athleticism that she's got, and you just want to reuse it, and she does. And there are some players who are extremely athletic, and they don't use the athleticism the way she does. And you got to just encourage that. You got to encourage that and not stifle that, because that is a big part of why she's as good as she is.
Now look at Sky Wilson, who's obviously very undersized on the court, but her presence is large. You know, kid comes to you and says, I'm only, 5'2" or 5'4" or whatever, but I really want to play basketball, Coach. What do you say to that kid?
I say there are many young ladies who have played before you who are that size. You have got to work. It's going to be hard work, but you can do it, no question. But you, like Sky Wilson, she is one of the toughest players on the field. So if you want to be successful at that size, you got to be really tough. It helps if you can make some shots. Play some defense. You're going to make shots.
There she is, Kinsey Farmer. That's a lead to 15 for Missouri. Maybe a little bit too late. We'll see.
Got a little trap defense going there.
Andrea Simmons brings it down, kicks it out to the left side. How about that? Sky Wilson. Out of Clinton High, Sky Wilson. She averaged 22 on the year, and she's got 8 so far in this game.
What you love to see, and I know it's an all-star game, I get that. I love the aspect of the all-star game. We just talked about her, and she makes it through, and she is guarding like it's a championship game.
Here's Peyton Wolford throwing it in, and I've watched her quite a bit tonight. Peyton Wolford, I mentioned she's 6'2", but she's just one of those freakish athletes. I don't say that disrespectfully. She just raw athleticism. You see her making a baseball pass. I mean, that was more like a football pass, 35 yards down the field. That was ridiculous. But not only do we, and we talked about this a little bit too, but one of the questions that I was able to ask a lot of these student athletes, hey, talk about your grades, talk about your classwork. How about this? Peyton Johnson, 4.0. Andrea Simmons, 4.3. With the asterisk, some schools have a little bit different scale, but 4.3. Jada Smith, 4.0. Riley Kerwin, right up there at 4.0. Sienna Lewis from Shawnee Mission Northwest, 4.2. Lily Unruh, 4.3. And the list goes on and on. And just, I marvel at the ability of these student athletes to put in the time that they do to hone their craft, but also get it done in the classroom.
Yeah.
You certainly have a lot of student athletes who do just that.
You said extra sports too, so this is kind of a year-round thing for them. They have to play in the classroom, they're in athletics, and sometimes maybe even have a social life.
Three from the right wing, also a little bit short. Going the other way, here's Gabby playing in her final game, her final high school basketball game, and quite frankly, the final competitive game of her career. Not to say that she could play some intramurals. Kinsey Farmer, a little head fake, looking for a bounce pass underneath, out there, back up top. Farmer to Verhulst. What a combo. Now, Coach Roby was telling me just a little while ago that Kinsey Farmer and Kirsten Verhulst are cousins. What an absolute freakish family that must be, my goodness. Peyton with a fantastic career down at Oklahoma, started at Louisville. Saw her on ESPN.
Thanksgiving basketball game is probably pretty tough right now.
I would imagine so. Ashton plays basketball before Paige as well. She's really good, played at UCF for a couple of years there.
58-46, final 25-24. It's 2025 Girls DiRenna All-Star Game.
This is always fun.
It's passing a long baseball pass ahead. I don't think they're going to blow the whistle at this point. Just going to let him play, finish it out, 58-46. Kinsey with one last shot. Earl Holtz with
There
one
he goes,
last.
landed at the buzzer. Nice job.
Down to single digits, but it ain't going to be enough. And Missouri is going to take the crown back across state line for the second year in a row with a 58-49 victory over the Kansas All-Stars here in the DiRenna All-Star Game. And I'd like to say a special thanks to all of the coaches that have been on the program throughout the evening, and especially the guy to my right. That is head coach Justin Snell out of St. James Academy. Coach, thanks once again. Hopefully you'll come back next year. Make it 3 in a row.
Why not? Thanks for having me on.
All right, my
Appreciate
man.
everything you do.
All right, thank you. Chris Kamler.
Yes, sir.
What do you got for us?
We're going to run some ads and pay some bills. You're going to go fix that camera for me.
Oh, am I? All right. Well, I'll see what I can do.
We'll be right back here on the DiRenna Awards High School Basketball All-Star Game here, powered by A10 Work.
Don't miss the region's top boys basketball junior events right here in Kansas City. Varsity and JV divisions, big and small class. 4-game minimum guarantee, college coaches NCAA Division II, NAI, and JUCO. June 13th through 15th at Staley, June 20th through 22nd at Piper, right next door to the NCAA certified event at Homefield. Register online, 810varsity.com/June, or contact Chad Rader at 810varsity. Stay local, save money, all with 810 Varsity June events. Find out more information at 810varsity.com.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Woo! Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the points.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, cause it all gives you more with Whataburger rewards.
Dad, don't forget about my new cleats.
Sweetie, I can't make it to Dick's this week.
Have you heard of Dix.com?
Have I heard of Dix.com? Have I heard of Dix.com? Whoa.
Don't overthink it. Let's go shopping.
Actually, what I need are some cleats.
How about one of these?
Great.
Done.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Back for the All-Star Game, Most Valuable Player Awards. Amanda Ford out of University Academy for the Missouri team, and Mackenzie Farmer out of DeSoto for the Kansas team. And we'll be back to go pay a few more bills.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident, and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Back inside St. Thomas Aquinas High School. It is between games. We're getting set up for the boys game Coming up here in just a few minutes, they are going to award a very special award to a former Kansas standout, Wayne Simeon. He's going to be inducted into the Kansas City Basketball Hall of Fame here in just a few minutes. Simeon obviously played with the Miami Heat for a couple of years in the league. Grew up in the Lawrence area. And he was last playing with a team out of Spain. Won a NBA title in 2006 with the Heat.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Wayne Simeon was a standout player at Leavenworth High School where he led his team to the 2000 Kansas Class 6A state championship and received several recognitions his senior year, including being named the 2001 DiRenna Award winner, the Kansas Men's Gatorade Player of the Year, and the McDonald's High School All-American. During his time at the University of Kansas, he played in 2 Final Fours and won 3 Big 12 championships. In 2005, Simeon was a unanimous selection as the Big 12 Player of the Year. He was the only player in the league to average a double-double for the season. He was also a 2-time All-Big 12 first-team selection, and in recognition of his outstanding career, his jersey has been retired and resides in Allen Fieldhouse. In 2005, Simeon was a first-round pick of the Miami Heat and was part of their NBA World Championship team in 2007. Currently, he serves as the Associate Athletics Director of Strategic Engagement for the University of Kansas. At center court with Rick Satan, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in honoring the newest member of the Kansas City Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame, Wayne Simeon.
Congratulations to Wayne Simeon. Huge honor here, newest member of the Kansas City Basketball Hall of Fame. He having a jersey retired at Allen Fieldhouse. That's no slouch as well. Now we will start warm-up for the boys' game coming right up. Is this good? Come on. Lower third.
is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
At Price Chopper, we're always chopping prices. Just like we're always making sure you get the best cut every time. For freshness, selection, and low prices, Kansas City knows. Price Chopper.
Dad, don't forget about my new cleats.
Sweetie, I can't make it to Dick's this week.
Have you heard of Dix.com?
Have I heard of Dix.com? Have I heard of Dix.com? Whoa.
Don't overthink it. Let's go shopping.
Actually, what I need are some cleats.
How about one of these?
Great.
Done.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, golf club? Not for me.
Yeah,
For a friend.
of course,
I'm
of
just
course.
anyone impressed with how fast that was?
Yeah,
I know. I went to
My
Dix.com.
cleats. Thank you. I love you.
Well, I went to Dix.com. Ever heard of it?
Yeah, I told you about that.
Get a shake with your points and some fries on the side with your points.
You get more with every order.
Get a Whataburger or a patty melt or some breakfast with the point.
You get more with every order.
Get a biscuit or a brownie, but no matter what you pick, you get more.
Like your favorite Whataburger or whatever, cause it all gives you more with Whataburger rewards.
Hey, yeah, go ahead there, Chris.
We're back inside the DiRenna All-Star Game, And here's what happened just a few seconds ago. This is our replay cam. And the basket is now down.
There is no basket.
There is no basket. And that may do it for the night.
We may have to turn this into a skills competition. I'm going to go find Larry House, Chris, and figure out what the game plan is.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are doing that. This is kind of the issue with mobile baskets, with not having mobile baskets, having stationary baskets, is that they, here's what it looked like. And it just came right off. So that was fun. We're gonna, a lot of milling around. We're gonna kind of see what's going on here. Obviously, a little bit of a situation. I do not think that is something that will be temporarily fixed. My cameraman Jim McClintock is put a mic on. Put a mic on, Jim. Come on. Come on, put a mic on, Jim. We got a good view of Jim right here. He said that this had happened once before, and that they moved the game to the Aux Gym, which obviously not going to be super conducive for televised basketball, but certainly a situation right here. And we will kind of keep you posted as to what's going on. That backboard is not going up anytime soon. Again, if you're just joining us, this is what happened just a few minutes ago. And this is what remains. Wasn't even that strong of a dunk, honestly. So we're awaiting Sean to come back up. So we are kind of in a standard state. John Brewer, our intrepid reporter, is down on the ground right now, trying to get an update. It may end up turning into a skills competition or something of that nature. Joining us, thank you. Let's give you another look at kind of what happened just a few minutes ago. Page 3 instant replay. This is the result. There is no basket, so just waiting for to see what's going on. Now we've got half-court shots. Well, if you just joined us, we are in kind of a holding pattern as we were getting ready for the boys' game to start. We had this happen. The rim completely came down on the dunk, which happens from time to time. Problem is that these are static, permanent baskets, and so that glass needs to be completely replaced, and that is not going to happen tonight. So what we are looking for is to see kind of what they may end up doing. They may end up having a skills contest. They may end up having a half-court game of some sort, and we are awaiting information about that. So hang tight with us, folks. We'll stay here and figure out what we're doing. Join us here on the DiRenna All-Star Game. Coverage powered by A10 Varsity.
Dad, don't forget about my new cleats.
Sweetie, I can't make it to Dick's this week.
Have you heard of Dix.com?
Have I heard of Dix.com?
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. We are going to proceed with the dunk contest, and then you will receive information down the road about a rescheduled game. Again, dunk contest will commence shortly. Information will be forthcoming about a reschedule. Thank you.
So thank you for joining us. I don't know if you had just heard, but they will be rescheduling the game, and we're still going to have our dunk contest. So athletes are getting ready for that, and we'll bring that to you live here on 810varsity.com.
Dunk contest in a few minutes, and information will be coming at some point about a rescheduled contest, a rescheduled game. Thank you.
So obviously, if you missed it earlier, oh, that's all right. If you missed it earlier, or where have you been? But this is what it looked like from a replay standpoint.
Did something happen while I was gone?
No, everything's just fine. Absolutely nothing happened, Sean. What we had was, this is what happened during pregame. The basket came straight down, and that is where we've been. We've been kind of steady one for that amount of time. So that obviously has made our game unplayable because you can't play with more than with less than two baskets. So what we're going to have is a dunk contest. Sean, are you going to be a guest scorer for this dunk contest?
I will absolutely be out there judging now.
Okay.
I do have an announcement to make
please.
in relation to the remainder
Yeah,
of this.
you've been down there amongst the Illuminati.
Trying to find a path forward, and that path forward looks like potentially a game Thursday night at the home of the Jaguars in Western Shawnee at Mill Valley. Potentially. Now, that is not confirmed. There have to be some I's dotted and T's crossed, as you can imagine. But that's what the kind of the effort behind the scenes right now is. And this dunk contest is going to buy us a little bit of time to figure out what those next steps are.
Well, I look forward to watching that on the internet, because it won't be me. But, well, it's a shame. But
selfishly, I'm thinking, well, let's see what's going to be the easiest
right,
for me.
Right.
2-minute drive.
Yeah, exactly. That's over in your neck of the woods. Well, Bethany's going to have a lot of time to do interviews, so that's good.
Oh, and is she just taking her bag and going home?
No. She's setting up. She's going to go over by D Woods and take some pictures, and we are going to have a dunk cam for as long as it is in place. It fell down again, so I had to go move it back up, and I taped it in place. So, Sean, why don't you go ahead and take your spot, man? You are a guest.
All right.
You are a guest scorer for this dunk contest. So
you know what? Somebody might have I think they noticed that
famous Sean Brewer. Well, go down and ask if you are, and if not, then we're good. Famed dunk scorer, Sean Brewer may be participating in the dunk contest. Maybe not.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. As mentioned, the dunk contest will start shortly. Here is some information about the reschedule. Mill Valley High School, Wednesday, April 16th, 7:30 p.m. That's the information for the rescheduled contest. No charge. Mill Valley High School, Wednesday, April 16th, 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
So if you didn't hear that, they are going to reschedule the All-Star Game for this Wednesday at Mill Valley. And in the meantime, we are going to have a dunk contest. So stand by.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. The DiRenna All-Star Games. The contestants are player in this first round will have a total of 2 dunks.
Each player is going to have a total of 2 dunks. There's going to be 3 players from each team. Team Kansas. Looks like Nick Anderson is out there, out of Olathe South. Jalen Watson out of Olathe North. Did not get who the third was. And for Callan Eskew for Missouri out of the Rockers squad. Cam Jones from Park Hill. Okay, just got some more information from the table. Two players per team. And right now, those players are Cam Jones and Callan Eskew from the Missouri team, and Jalen Watson and Nick Anderson from Team Kansas. Folks, if you're just joining us, we'll get the updated roster here.
Ladies and gentlemen, also joining the Kansas lineup is Jalen Watson. So, for Missouri, Callan Eskew, Cam Jones, and for Kansas, Nick Anderson, London Burton, and Jalen Watson.
All right, so there has been a roster change for the dunk contest. Team Missouri will still have two players. That'll be Cam Jones out of Park Hill, Callan Eskew out of Rockhurst. For Team Kansas, it'll be Jalen Watson out of Olathe North, London Burton from Aquinas, and Nick Anderson out of Olathe South.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, first up for Missouri.
And I think we are ready to rock and roll. So Callan Eskew will be our first. So let's watch that one again. Here's his replay. Not too shabby. Judges are the replay from the floor side. Judges are getting their scores. We'll go back live here.
Next up
is going to be Cam Jones out of Park Hill. See what Cam's got for him. 360 off the back iron, no good. completed that one. Let's take a look at his second opportunity.
Next up, from the Kansas side, Nick Anderson.
Looks pretty good. Nick Anderson. Out of Olathe South. Great season for Olathe South. Here he goes with the pop. Tried to do the windmill. Put it down. And another opportunity. Here goes opportunity number 2. There he goes. That one did it. With the windmill slam. Take a look at it from what the bucket saw. Good ups on that one. Here's on the floor. Good to me. That's a good one.
All right, next up is London Burton.
All right, London Burton.
Did you just say that I look good to you?
No.
Okay.
I would never.
Don't worry. It's kind of weird.
So if you're just joining us and expecting to see the men participating in an All-Star game, there was an incident at the other end of the court. Well, there you go. That's a good high flying hanger right there.
Almost another incident.
See that one? I'm looking at scores. What that one looked like. Ooh, that's good. Jalen Watson now. His first attempt out of Olathe North.
The girls' game was fantastic.
Exactly. Olathe North made a deep run at state this year in Class 6A. Both boys and girls from Olathe North. Second opportunity here.
Chris, he's not a super tall man, but somehow he's able to get high above the rim.
So strike 2 on that one. Let's see if they're going to, no, they're going to give him third try.
Good.
As they should.
We're all about third chances here. Ooh, he's going to switch it up, bring it to the near side.
Try a different angle.
Safe.
There you go. There you go. The two-handed flush. Let's see that one more time. Now they are tallying the scores for this first round. See what that one looks like from the bucket. There you go.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate the instant replay by the incomparable Chris Kamler?
Let's not get too crazy. All right, we've got, this is Kalinescu. Oh boy, he's got height and, whoa, almost from the free throw line. Jordan Esk couldn't throw it down. He's going to get another one. Looking for the crowd to go. Hey, you got to shorten that wire, pal.
That was when you started talking.
Oh. Oh! Yeah, I clipped. That's fine. It's not going to be the last time either.
I do need to see my proctologist.
Right? Third effort here. Let's check it out. There he is! Chucks it down like 2-day-old soup. Nice job. Take a look at that one again. Starting from half court. Now, from just inside the free throw line. What that one look like. Next we'll have Cam Jones. He's getting lined up. There you go. Nice job.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Mr.
Cam Jones. Out of Park Hill High School. Measure it. It's going to be off of a dribble drive. You've seen a lot of them start inside the paint. This is pretty awesome. He's going to go straight at it. Try number 2, incomplete. Now he's going to go for number 3. He's out there. There we go. That's a winner right there. Cam Jones with the flush, the high percentage shot, if you will. And I think that might complete the first round. See how it looked like for the basket.
And next up, number 30,
Anderson now. That, my friends, was pretty sweet. Check that one out on the replay one more time. Measured under the legs. And the finish. That one's the leader in the clubhouse there. Oh, behind the back. How pretty is that? That will get us through the first round.
all right, ladies and gentlemen,
London Brook. London, the home school here in Aquinas, hometown school favorite. Looking to possibly throw one over his teammate. Let's see what we got cooking here. He's checking his phone. It's all about the flare. Check his phone. See what happens. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at that. Look at that one, folks. Let's check that one out one more time. Right over his buddy, checking his phone. And he got up and down on that one. Looks like Jalen Watson queuing up for his second dunk.
next up, Jalen Watson.
Right, a little 360. Had the height, just couldn't throw it down. Third opportunity here for Watson. Watson out of Latham North. Zero on that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, tied are Calvin Eskew and London Burton. Tied are Eskew and Burton. They each get one dunk. Here we go.
Eskew from
First up,
Rockhurst.
Mr. Eskew.
And he's lining up for his right here. Gonna go between the legs.
Here we go.
A little push up off the backboard. That one again on the replay. see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing. Little baseline, toss off. They can connect on this. This would be pretty sweet. I'm going to get one more shot. Couldn't get it down, so looks like Kalinowski may be coming home with some dunk contest hardware. Another round. It's going to be Nick Anderson now, one-on-one, 1v1. Anderson. Latha South. That's a good slam right there. Nice job. Send that one out one more time. Windmill action. Good job. Coming up against Kalinowski again. Cooking up well downtown. Windmill action. Roll it down. Go off the handle. See what he's trying to do. If you're just joining us, All-Star Game will be rescheduled Wednesday at Mill Valley. There it is, two-hand slam. Well done, sir. Very nicely played. Take another look at that one. Look at that one from the left-hand basket. Plenty of height on that one. Plenty of lift. Nice job. What comes next? See if they make him go up against Jalen Watson again.
Back to number 30.
Anderson will have a dunk opportunity. Not really sure how this snake draft is going, but just doing what they tell us to do. Anderson, another opportunity here. They go between the legs. Ooh, that one was very, very close off the backboard. Back iron. Ball Shagger took a little one off the dome. She gets to be okay. Reverse flush. The applause here from the crowd. Let's check that one out one more time. Lescu, who is his 19th dunk. Try number 2. catches. Legs. Look like on the floor. Just joining us. Expecting to see an All-Star game that has been rescheduled for Wednesday at Mill Valley.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the DiRenna All-Star Dunk Contest from Missouri, number 40.
There he is. Calinescu out of Rockhurst. Congratulations with the winner. Show that winning dunk one more time. Good collection of dunks out of Eskew tonight. We will take that trophy back to the Hawklets and make it happen. That will conclude our proceedings for the evening. We've only got one rim, so that means we're going to have to go find another gym to play. We will play that game on Wednesday at Mill Valley. We'll have coverage for you here on 810 Varsity and 810varsity.com as well as YouTube. On behalf of Sean Brewer, I've been Chris Campbell. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you again on Wednesday.
Don't miss the region's top boys basketball June events right here in Kansas City. Varsity and JV divisions, big and small class. 4-game minimum guarantee, college coaches NCAA Division II, NAI, and JUCO. June 13th through 15th at Staley, June 20th through 22nd at Piper, right next door to the NCAA certified event at Homefield. Register online, 810varsity.com/June, or contact Chad Rader at 810varsity. Stay local, save money, all with 810 Varsity June events. Find out more information at 810varsity.com.